our text will be from Psalms 40. I'm going to be reading a couple Psalms, so just an introduction. You don't have to stand, but really my introduction, what really got on my heart, what really began to deal with me today was Psalm 137. You know that one of the saddest Psalms in the Bible. We know that Psalms is the book of Psalms, a lot of songs of sadness, a lot of songs of shame, a lot of songs of slavery, a lot of songs of sorrow and suffering, even in Satan's prison and one of even sojourning in the land. Psalm 137 tells about those who are not only enjoying blessings anymore, but just enduring burdens. They had a barrenness, they had a bitterness, they had a brokenness about them. It was written by POWs. Not only prisoners of war, but prisoners of want. They wanted God. And today, I think we got a lot of prisoners of want. We want something from God, aren't we? We want relief. And they remembered, it says here, just as this is what I thought about at got the good heart, the good Lord dealing with my heart. It says, by the river of Babylon, you know this, Psalm 137, there we sat down, yea, we wept when we remembered Zion. We hanged our hearts upon the willows in the midst thereof. You know what? They had a sadness they couldn't escape, a misery in their hearts, and the memories in their of their home. They was in Babylon. They were captive, and they remembered their homeland, the way it used to be. They asked them to sing, and they said, "We hung up our harps upon the willows in the midst thereof." They had a sarcasm they couldn't endure. They had a song they could no longer express. It was in a foreign land, and those who are free can truly sing. But I want to tell you what, suffering don't rob you of a song. A child of God suffered. You know, we've been in COVID now 700 days. All through history, these viruses lasted about a year and a half at the most. I mean, we've been suffering. And a lot of us suffering, personally, we have problems, but suffering cannot rob you of a song. Ask Paul and Silas in Acts 16 when they was in at midnight and they began to sing. And by the way, that kept coming up all through all my studies tonight too, that midnight hour, that cry, that light, that song. But you know what? It cannot... suffering cannot rob you of a song, and suffering cannot rob you of a song. Job 35:10 said that God gave him a song in the night, in the middle of the night, when things are dark, when things are when he kind of my friend, he's kind of like us. He laughed, but we got clocks in every room. I think Parker went through one day and counted them all. And at night, Patty said one of them goes off at quarter after, one of them goes off at half past, one goes off at quarter till. And Patty had the bright idea to set them all 1 minute apart. That way we could hear this one chime and then the other one chime. Well, and guess what? We had our cousins come over when they spent the night. They said, "How can you sleep?" No, we just got used to it. But my buddy, growing up, he said he had a clock like that. The old clock. His daddy gave him a clock, and it would chime on the quarter and the half hour and the 40 and the quarter till. And his aunt used to come spend the night, and she hated that clock. She would tell in the midnight hour every time she got up, "I heard the clock at 2 o'clock. I heard the clock at 3 o'clock." And she got this bright idea. She would lift one corner of the clock, and the pendulum would stop, and it wouldn't ding anymore. And every time the aunt would come over, the clocks would quit. And they said, "What happened to that clock?" And the aunt never would admit but they seen her lift up the clock. But nothing like laying awake in the midnight hour. But Paul said, Job said, even in the midnight hour, when you're wide awake, you're worried about yesterday and worried about tomorrow, he said, God will give you a song in the night. And Satan's pits won't stop you from singing a song. Jeremiah was in the pit in Jeremiah 38. I love that story. Used to sing that song, Love Lifted Me. He was in a miry pit full of mud, and his people knew that they couldn't jerk him out, because that mud would, jerk back and they would bruise him up. So tenderly, what did they do? Get rags and cloths, and they would wrap around and put around his shoulders and underneath his armpit, and lifted him up slowly out of the pit. Love lifted me. He had a certain amount of people that cared about him and said, we just can't take him out of the pit. We got to do it lovingly. And they took rags and put underneath him. They lifted him out of the mire. Even this soul journey can't take away this song from us. Like in the day, you know what? In Matthew 26:30, they said our Savior even sung. He was on the way to Calvary, and Jesus took time and sung a hymn. You can't tell me suffering and sorrow. And what really got to my heart in Job, it says that God gave the widows a song of joy in their heart. That's only God can do that. I seen it. I hadn't only read it, I seen it. Somebody lost a loved one and their husband. And I had never been down that road, but guess what? They still lift that little hand and sing Amazing Grace. Kaylee sung that song, I have a song the angels cannot sing. Why? They don't know anything about Amazing Grace. They have never been redeemed. When I know the angels are going to be singing, I believe they're going to be singing beautifully. And I think it's going to be wonderful. But when the people, the children of God stand up, those that have been redeemed, and start singing about Amazing Grace, the angels can't sing that song. They don't know what they're singing about. Ain't that precious? A song the angels cannot sing. If you get thinking about that, I tell you what, it'll bless you. It might hit you after a while. You got a song the angels can't sing. You have been redeemed. We sung a song with our precious Jesus. I love that song, Sweet Rose of Sharon. As refreshing as the flower in the snow. And it says that a liberated soul cannot sing very long the songs about being locked up and burdened until they think about liberated. God set them free and they begin to sing Precious Jesus. You remembered where you've been. And what are you saying? I'm getting to Psalms 40 and Psalms 138. I read that and it said they hung their harps up upon the willows. You know what I wrote over that in my own heart? They no use to hang it up now. They no use to hang it up now. They no use to quit singing Amazing Grace, praising God. They no use to quit now. We're too close to being delivered, too close to that midnight hour. I'm not going to hang up my harps now. Or you have a song in your heart. Psalms 140, just going to go over it quick. I know. It says, I wait patiently for the Lord, and he inclined unto me and heard my cry. You know what? Everybody's singing a song. A lot of people singing the blues. A lot of people singing sad songs. There was a song out. It says, Billy broke my heart at Walgreens, and I cried all the way to Sears. And they was a song, what? Thank God and Greyhound she gone. You know, beer, drinking, music. How can I ever miss you if you won't go away? I mean, these was what we grew up with. I mean, real songs. Said, I'm so miserable without you, it's almost like you are here. My John Deere was breaking your field when your dear John was breaking my heart. Those songs who was never, I think, made the top 10, but they was written by people who were singing the blues and the beer drinking music. And we all have a song, but a child of God got a song that the angels can't sing. It said, an old country song, like I went back to my fourth wife for the third time to give her a second chance and to make a first class fool out of me. Yeah, that was part of the old country song. And what song were you singing? The blues, the sorrows, the sadness? Always the country people, they always lose their wife, their truck, their job, their dog, their health. You know, but we all got a song. In verse 1 it said, the saints have experienced his tenderness. I waited patiently for the Lord, and he inclined unto me, and he heard my cry. We experienced his tenderness, and he extends his tenderness to the waiting one. He said, and I waited patiently. Sometimes you got to wait on the Lord to tell you something. We rush into many things. And he inclined unto me and heard my cry. He brought me out of a horrible pit, out of the miry clay, and set my feet upon a rock, and established my going. He hath put a new song in my mouth, even praise unto our God. Many shall see it and fear, and shall trust in the Lord. Blessed is the man that maketh the Lord his trust, and respecteth not the proud, nor such as turn aside to lies. Many, O Lord, my God, are the wondrous works which thou hast done, and their thoughts which are to us word, they cannot be reckoned up in order to thee. If I would declare and speak of them, they would be more than can be numbered. So the saints have experienced his tenderness. He extends his tenderness to the waiting ones. In verse 2, he extends his tenderness to the wounded ones. A lot of people are waiting. A lot of people are wounded, he said, and he heard my cry. He extended his tenderness to the wretched one. You know what? We all today are waiting on this virus, and we're waiting on something to happen and God to move. It's no use to hang up your harps now and quit singing. We need to keep praising the Lord. The saints have experienced his touch, the touch of grace, the touch of the glories of his touch, the glory of his power, his provision, and his promise. Verse 3, it says, and he put a new song in my mouth. You know what? The saints not only experience his touch, but we have experienced his transformation. He did a work in our life. He gave us a new song. He gave us a new hope. He gave us a new something to look forward to. Not only the private person, but the public person. He changed our life one day. He lifted us out of the miry pit. It said, I preached it one time. I said, out of the mire on the rock. From the pit, the depression, the emotional pit, the spiritual pit, singing the blues or not singing the blessings of God. When your life is in the pit, it is easy to sing the blues. When your life is in the pits, it's easy to sing the blues, ain't it? We all been there. We want to sing the sad songs, and it's very hard not to sing the blues. How you find yourself struggling in a pit. What is a pit in the Bible? A pit is a place that you feel stuck. You can't get out of it. Jeremiah 36:6, like I read, he was in that miry pit, in the miry clay. He couldn't even move his feet, no traction. A pit is a place where you cannot stand. The mire, no solid foundation, soft and mushy. Psalm 69, 2. Like I said, wasn't to the last couple of minutes. I decided that. It says here, I sunk in deep mire, and there was no standing. I am come into deep waters, and the floods overflow me. It's a place, a pit in the Bible is a place you cannot see forward. You know, being in the pit, many people, when they find themselves in the pit, they'll go through divorce, they commit suicide, they'll go to drugs. You know why? They said, I'm not going anywhere. I'm hopeless. I'm helpless. I see no future. Really, only took a small course in counseling, and I'm not really really fond of counseling people. You know why? Because when they come to get help, guess what? They're in a bad situation, aren't they? Already in a bad situation. A lot of times, but one thing they tell you to do, always let them leave with hope. Always let the person leave with hope. Because that's what the problem is. They get in a place, in a pit, they see no help, no hope, no future, no solid foundation, and nothing else. You pray with them and you try to get them to the place where they see some hope. It seems like we all need it so bad. Romans 15:13 said that he's a God of hope. Thank God he's a God of comfort, a God of grace, and a God of peace. The Bible says that also he is a God of hope. When your life is in the pit, it's critical to engage your faith. You look at David and Joseph and Daniel. The steps, you've got to look up. Looking down at your situation, all you're going to do is be distressed. If you look around at your situation in the pit, you're going to be more distressed. You look within to your own self, you're going to be depressed. You have to look up. You're going to be blessed. It's what I'm saying. It's no time to hang up your harps. It's no time to quit praising God and looking to God. It's no, like they said, we hung up our harps. It's not time to hang it up yet. We're too close to being delivered. Help is here. Preached last Wednesday night. There is a remedy, aren't there? Is there a balm in Gilead? Yes, there is a help. Is there a physician there? Talking about medicine, talking about a doctor, talking about health. Yes, there are a medicine, there are remedies, there is a great physician, and yet, why are we not healthy? The Bible asks that in Jeremiah 8, because we have not applied it. We have not received it. We rejected it. Our eyes are on you. I'm going to turn to that. I just want you to, at times like these, a lot of time we ask God what to do for discernment, for wisdom. We ask for God to help. We ask for God to help us. But I always go back to this verse here, 2 Chronicles 20:12. O our God, will thou not judge them? For we have no might against this great company that cometh against us. Neither know we what to do, but our eyes are upon thee. When you don't know what to do, look to God. When you don't know where you're going to take your next step, look to God. You need discernment, you need wisdom, ask for wisdom. James says, when your life is in the pit, it's vital to know that God is with you. He was with Joseph in the pit. He was with Daniel in the lion's den. You got to know that he's never going to leave you, forsake you. That says here in Isaiah 43, when thou passest through the waters, I will be with thee. And through the rivers there shall not overflow thee. When thou walkest through the fire, thou shalt not be burned, neither shall the flame kindle upon thee. For I am the Lord their God. You know what, I thought about that. They prayed that for you up there in the mountains. You remember when the flood came? They were praying for you. They was all, we had people up there that came to the coast of North Carolina and down here. You know what? I remember a person praying that I really didn't know much about what was going on down here at that time, but said, "When I passes through the water," God was with you, wasn't He? You made it through, didn't you? A lot of you been through the fire. You've been through losing your spouse. What I'm saying is, no time to hang up your harps now. For a child of God, the best is yet to come.